In a world addicted to validation, likes, messages, recognition, most people are unknowingly trapped in a silent cycle of emotional dependence. They check their phones constantly, overthink replies, and feel invisible when ignored. But here's the uncomfortable truth: the more you beg for attention, the more you lose your power. The Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, understood something most people today don't. Attention is not something you chase, it's something you attract by becoming someone worth noticing. They didn't beg, they didn't perform, they built inner strength so undeniable that the world had no choice but to pay attention. This isn't about becoming cold or distant, it's about becoming self-sufficient. Because the moment you stop needing attention is the moment you start commanding it. 1. Marcus Aurelius, the power of inner approval. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, never chased validation from others, despite ruling millions. He constantly reminded himself that external praise meant nothing if his inner world was weak. In his private journal, Meditations, he wrote about focusing only on what he could control: his thoughts, actions, and character. Imagine that, the Emperor of Rome, yet he didn't crave applause. He understood that attention from others is unstable. It comes and goes like the wind. If you depend on it, you become emotionally fragile. Most people today do the opposite. They post, they wait, they hope. But Marcus teaches us a different path. Build a mind so strong that approval becomes irrelevant. When you stop needing others to notice you, you start noticing your own worth. And that quiet confidence, it speaks louder than any cry for attention ever could. 2. Epictetus, control what you can, ignore the rest. Epictetus was born a slave, yet became one of the greatest philosophers in history. Why? Because he mastered one simple principle: focus only on what you can control. Attention from others is not in your control. You can't force someone to reply faster, like your content, or admire you, yet people waste their lives trying. They over-explain, over-text, over-perform, hoping to be seen. Epictetus would call this a mistake. He believed that when you attach your happiness to things outside your control, you surrender your freedom, and attention is one of the biggest traps. Instead, he advised focusing inward on discipline, mindset, and self-respect. When you stop chasing what you can't control, you regain your power. You become calm, grounded, and independent. Ironically, that's when people start noticing you more, because you're no longer desperate for it. 3. Seneca, the danger of needing applause. Seneca, the wealthy Roman philosopher, warned about the subtle addiction to approval. He saw how people changed themselves just to fit in, just to be liked. He believed this was a form of weakness, a quiet surrender of your true self. When you need applause, you start performing. You say what people want to hear, you act how people expect, and slowly, you lose who you really are. Seneca argued that a wise person is content with their own approval. They don't need the crowd. They don't bend for validation, because the crowd is unpredictable. Today they praise you, tomorrow they ignore you. If your identity depends on them, you'll always feel unstable. But when you detach from this need, something powerful happens. You become authentic, and authenticity is rare. It draws people in naturally without effort, without begging. For Diogenes, radical freedom from social approval. Diogenes took things even further. He rejected society's expectations completely. He lived simply, spoke boldly, and didn't care what anyone thought of him. While others chased status and attention, he mocked their neediness. When Alexander the Great, one of the most powerful men in history, offered him anything he wanted, Diogenes simply said, "Stand out of my sunlight." That's power, not dominance. Not wealth, but complete independence from needing anything from anyone. Diogenes shows us what it looks like to be truly free. When you stop caring about attention, you become untouchable. No one can manipulate you with approval or rejection. You live on your own terms. While you don't need to live like Diogenes, his mindset is a powerful reminder. The less you need from others, the stronger you become. 5. Cato the Younger urged integrity over popularity. Cato was known for his unshakable integrity. He stood for what was right, even when it made him unpopular. While others adjusted their beliefs to gain favor, Cato refused. He didn't chase attention, he chased truth, and because of that, he earned deep respect, even from his enemies. Most people today fear being disliked. They soften their opinions, hide their true selves, just to avoid rejection. But Cato teaches us that respect is more valuable than attention. Attention can be fake, it can be temporary. But respect is earned through consistency and character. When you stop trying to please everyone, you start becoming someone worth respecting. And that kind of presence, it doesn't beg, it commands. 6. Musonius Rufus, quiet strength over loud validation. Musonius Rufus believed in living a life of quiet discipline. He didn't seek fame or recognition. Instead, he focused on living with virtue, doing the right thing, even when no one was watching. In today's world, people often only act when there's an audience. They want their efforts seen, liked, and praised. But Musonius would argue that true strength is built in silence. When you train your mind, improve your habits, and grow as a person without needing recognition, you develop something rare: inner stability. You're no longer dependent on external validation. You're driven by purpose, not attention. And ironically, people start noticing you not because you asked them to, but because your presence feels different. It feels grounded, real, and shaken. So here's the truth most people won't tell you. Begging for attention doesn't make you seen, it makes you invisible. Because real power is quiet. Real confidence doesn't chase, it attracts. And the moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you become someone others can't ignore. Start building your mind. Start valuing your own approval. And watch how the world begins to notice without you asking. Because the strongest presence in the room is the one that needs nothing.